Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Damien O'Farrell from Principal Relocation, and today's session is how small companies can use the power of social media. I've got three fantastic co-presenters with me today, and let me present them to you. We've got Michelle Bramstoft, who provides immigration and relocation solutions in and out of Denmark. Okay? Then we've got Shelley Lloyd, who also provides immigration and relocation solutions in and out of the United Kingdom. And then we've got Roberta Moura, okay, who provides immigration and relocation solutions in and out of Brazil, okay?
Thank you.
And we're going to start with what I'm calling the journey to social media, okay? If you're of a certain age, and I'm not admitting to being of a certain age, when you engaged with clients at a certain point, you printed a letter, you put a brochure in an envelope, and you sent it off, okay? But that's kind of old school. So what we're going to look at today is what I'm calling the new school of social media. And you can even see it happening around you. I'm not saying that newspapers are completely obsolete, but people are getting their information through blogs. Radio, I can't remember the last time I listened to a radio, but I listen to a podcast in the morning and in the evening going to work, okay? Television. People are turning away from traditional television. They're watching streaming services. They're watching YouTube, okay? And if you think that that's not the case, you can ask Blockbuster, okay? In-person networking will always be important, and it will continue to be something that we do, but people are reaching out more and more to social media to interact with people. Writing a book. Many, many years ago, one of the things I wanted to do was to write romance novels, okay? And I even wrote one. And I had to write to an agent in New York, and I had to mail the manuscript and wait for weeks to get a response, okay? Now you can write an ebook. You can have an ebook up and running in the space of hours, okay? The benefits of social media for a small company, what are they? Because what's in it for you? That's what you really want to know about. And the first thing is you get increased brand recognition. Your brand gets out into the market. You have a higher brand loyalty. You get increased opportunities to convert because every post you put on social media is an opportunity to sell. Higher brand credibility. You're engaging with clients, which is a good sign of good faith to potentials. They see feedback from you. More inbound traffic. The whole purpose of social media is to drive people to your website so they can see what you do. Cheaper marketing costs. Social media is reasonably cheap. Even if you sign up for Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, they're all pretty cheap in comparison to some traditional marketing tools. Every time you post on social media, you improve your SEO, which is, Roberta?
Oh my gosh. This is related to the search engine opportunity.
Optimization.
Yes.
Bravo. Okay. Then you get.
Voice.
She's back in the saddle. Okay. And then you've got enhanced customer experience, real-time feedback with your clients. So you can answer people in real time. Valuable customer insight. If potential clients, current clients, leave feedback, you get amazing feedback in real time. When I first started getting into social media, to be honest, as I told my colleagues yesterday, I almost got chest pains. There was so much. Every time I would read about something new, I was like, what is this? Then I had forgotten what I had learned 2 days ago, and it seemed a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to bring it down into very digestible pieces for you today. And that starts out with the selling best practices that Roberta will now explain to us.
Thank you, Damien. Boa tarde, everyone. Can anyone hear me today better than yesterday? Yay. So I'm very honored to be here talking about such a hot topic and vast, interesting thing. We first start, as MRS owner, we first started working with social media 2 years ago. During our budget meeting, the finance guy, being a finance guy, came back to me and said, Roberta, no more spending money. I immediately thought to myself, oh my gosh, no more new shoes. But of course, he was talking about reducing the marketing costs. And that's where all the work started. We said, okay, how can we increase our brand visibility without spending a lot of money in advertisement? Social media. But how can we leverage the power of the social media? And even though there is no high financial costs, this is really time intensive. And you're going to incur in labor costs because you need to allocate the proper resources to work on that. Either you're outsourcing or doing it in-house. And basically, what I wanted to share now is 4 tips. All the social media requires creativity, perseverance, and hard working. You have to be consistent. Just don't mirror yourself in someone else's technique. Create your own. Be genuine. Knowledge is power. It's good for you to do research and know what are the best practices, what your competition is doing, what they're not doing that you can improve. But at the end, you have to quantify the ROI. It's hard to do so. You have to measure what you're doing. And to do so, you need to outline and set out your SMART goals. Your social media should be part of your overall marketing strategy and not the center of it.
Hands up the number of people that have a social media strategy. Okay, good.
Yay!
Way to go.
So that's how it should be. And as soon as you reach that, if you go for tip number 2, you clarify your social media goals and objectives. Is it generate leads, collaborate with colleagues, set yourself as an expert in the market? So set your SMART tag and then outline your approach. Then you're going to pick up your media based on your research. Is it better to pick 1 or 2 and excel on that than be a disaster in 4? And before you go moving forward, just make sure that your website is working and it's mobile friendly.
And that it's mobile friendly. This
Yeah.
is 80% of internet traffic is now mobile devices. And there's nothing worse than looking at someone's website and it's the old version and you can't read it. You know, you got to get the glasses. I have the glasses.
Now you gotta win this first impression battle. Because as soon as you go live or you go online, the people will start going to your website. And if the SEO and the other functions are not working and they are not in place, then you don't want that, right?
No. Then the momentum gets lost.
Exactly.
What about a question that comes up a lot is, what is a hashtag?
Oh, that's cool. That's the pound sign for those that doesn't know. That in front of the words. And for me, it's an unbelievable organic way to hit discoverability and create amplification of your content.
When you say use a hashtag to get discovered, can you give me an example of that? Because I know that hashtags for a lot of people is something they need a little bit of explanation.
What do you need to do? You have to always create a value of you want to intend. They need to understand what you want to, the message you want to show them. So that's the importance. So that's how you have to do some research and see. Usually, you can do your own brand. You can go for some event that you are doing, that you're hosting, EuRa Warsaw, some session. Today is all about social media superpowers.
And 3 hashtags, let's say, for global mobility.
You can do global mobility itself for the industry. You can do the relocation. You can do immigration or just mobility is tricky because there's still a lot of...
Yeah, it's very, I think I'm not sure about you guys, but in the UK, when we discuss with new prospect clients or at networking sessions, if you talk about mobility, so many people come back to me and say, oh, you sell mobility scooters. It's like, no. So I think as an industry, we're not recognised enough. You know, if you say relocation, so hashtag relocation would probably get seen more than it would be hashtag mobility, because again, it kind of reverts back to the mobility.
Michelle, you and I were talking earlier about the use of social media to educate regarding social media.
Yes,
Social global mobility.
yes, I think it's a great medium to get the word out. There's so many people who have never heard of it. You talk to people we keep saying this at ERC, people don't know what it is, so we have to get the word out, and social media is a great way to do that, to educate everyone. The more people know about it, the more people
more
can
you do.
come to use our services.
Absolutely.
And you have some best practice. You can always have the do's and don'ts. Of course, do the research. Make sure that the hashtag you choose doesn't have a negative connotation or it's being Twitter hijacking. Very cool examples at Google. Cannot say it now. Time. And you create your hashtag and make sure that if it's unique, people will get it. Don't spam the people because you're a real live person talking to real live people. This is golden rule. And of course, you're not going to cram all the hashtags. You're not going to hashtag every hashtag word, hashtag in your...
So there has to be a reasonable
Yeah.
usage of
You know,
the hashtags.
yes, you know what I mean. And don't make your hashtags too long, such as, I had so much Polish vodka that I can't remember what that blonde girl said about the long hashtag. Was it a hashtag?
And the do's?
Do the research, create specific for the session, your register or event that you're doing. Make sure that the people will understand it and add value to your hashtags. If it's truly unique, you can do some research. You can do on Twitter on hashtags.org. But if you do the research, and if it's truly unique, you can even add it to the hashtags databases.
Excellent. You mentioned earlier, and I really agree with this, that it's better to be really present on one or two platforms and do that well rather than try to be present on the 9 or 10 platforms that exist. So obviously today we don't have enough time to talk about all of the platforms, so we're going to talk about what we've kind of termed the big four. And we're going to talk first about Facebook. How many of you interact through a company Facebook page? Okay,
Okay, good.
excellent. Okay, now
80-20%.
we are primarily a business-to-business sector. So Shelley, I know that you've been very active on Facebook. How has that worked out for you? What kind of engagement have you got?
For Facebook, for us, has probably been a challenge, to be honest with you, because I think that Facebook is generally set up, and if you are selling a service on Facebook, then it's quite often it's very B2C, it's not B2B, so it's quite difficult to connect.
B2B as in business to
To
business.
business and
sorry,
B2C, business to customers.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So we, the stance that we've taken on Facebook is, again, it's more about getting your brands out there than it is anything else. But if you think about it logically, although I'd say one of the best platforms to work on is probably LinkedIn with what we do and how we deliver services. If you think about the millennials and the fact that everyone's on Facebook, everybody, we all are. But in 15, 20 years, the millennials of today are going to be the HR directors, the supply chain managers. So they would have been brought up with the culture of Facebook. So it's definitely a platform that you have to have a presence on, and that you have to begin engaging with these individuals at this point.
But just like it's kind of been determined that 80% of your clients give you 20% of your work and 20% of your clients give you 80% of your work, how can we apply that principle to social media, Shelley, in your opinion?
So yeah, in my opinion, social media, again, it's more about building your brand than it is a platform to sell on. So again, it goes back to the entire engaging with your clients. For us, we set our company up 2 years ago, and for us it was so important to be able to get Celsium's name out there because nobody knew who we were. And we kind of thought, we have to sell on this platform. We have to sell all of our services and tell everyone what we do and how wonderfully we do it all in. But no one's liking sharing that sort of information. So it really is about getting people to understand that you are an expert at what you do. So it's about really writing really relevant blog posts. It's about sharing critical information such as what's happening with immigration or your housing market. And less about selling. If you are going to sell something on Facebook, again, make that engaging as well. So
Yeah, it has to be fun.
yeah, it has to be fun, definitely. And we've definitely used our British sense of humour when we're trying to put our message out there. So we did a campaign quite recently, which was about the hashtag, the benefit, was it cultural awareness? Yeah, the benefits of cultural awareness. And, we really did take the mick out of certain cultures, but especially the British one. And again, adding a bit of humour in there helps to engage because, again, you're not selling to a business, you're selling to an individual. So that would...
Plus what we learned yesterday, it's to make it about the client, not about us.
Yes.
We want to... It's the principle of networking. You want to host. You want to bring them to you through offering things that are relevant to them.
And also, when it comes to social media, I'm a big fan of what I call staff on demand. Okay, so there are a lot of platforms now where you can hire freelance people to follow certain things for you. So you don't want to become overwhelmed following social media and then you don't do it. So you can outsource the writing of blogs to somebody. You can give them keywords and tell them to write a 700-800 word blog, and then you've got it good to go. But one of the things I want to address is, if you haven't really been doing social media and you started, and then you get 2 likes maybe, or 1 share, how do you deal with that discouragement? Because people go on social media and they, okay, wow, I'm going to get 50 clients, in a week, and we know that doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
how do you keep that drive?
Well, I think how we do it is every time we look at our marketing strategy, which obviously includes social media, is that we look at the reasons why we want to run a particular campaign, and we set targets against it. So we build a campaign, we put measurements in it, and then we learn, because you're not always going to get it right. We tried to go on social media when we set the company up, and it was sell, didn't work. So now every single campaign that we run, we target it, we look at what it is we're looking to achieve on that campaign, because everyone needs a general presence, but especially if you're paying for campaigns,
Yes.
you need to put some measurements in there, otherwise you may as well throw your money away.
That's a good point, Roberta. On Facebook, you have the possibility to sponsor content. How do we sponsor content?
Well, it goes from normal posts and ads, but it's also about the video.
Video.
And
Video's
video-
hot right now, okay?
Video is the hottest thing ever. So unless you were all sleeping from 2016 to 2017, you could notice all the different platforms they increased or they released their video features. And you know that the great thing is that it's simple. You don't need fancy equipment. And right now, as we are talking about Facebook, it's standing in your newsfeed. It won't be always like that. So probably when videos creeps up to the popularity, you have to sponsor the video for maximum reach.
Michelle, I'm relocating to Denmark. I come across your Facebook page. What video would make me feel even more enthusiastic about relocating to Denmark? I mean, how can we use it practically?
Well, there's a new happy video out put out by Carlsberg, but I'm not so sure I want to be selling alcohol to make people happy. But it does help sometimes.
It does help.
It does help.
I'm curious to know how many of our audience have made a video and are using videos on their platform. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing? because we have some ideas. Because the plan is just know what you want and get some opportunities. You can do live tour. Do you remember how cool was when Willy Wonka opened the chocolate factory? You may not have Oompa Loompas working in your office, but still, everybody is super curious to see what happens behind the walls. Or you can do answer questions to your salespeople, to your receptionists, to everyone, and engage your team, and engage the clients and the audience to actually interact with you during this.
Yeah, one thing that we've found quite successful with doing videos is that, I mean, you're always looking, okay, what is it I'm going to make a video about? But we've all probably written very good content, blog posts to go onto our social media platforms. But video yourself, reading out those blog posts, or, you know, how you deliver services, because we do it on our smartphone, so we've not got, you know, Stuart's fantastic production was absolutely wonderful, but we haven't got the budget at the moment. But so for us, we just use our smartphone, and you know, the engagement that we've had from that has been really, really successful. So the content's pretty much always there. So and it's about, you know, if you're making a video, you know, I don't think people want to read things all the time, so it's a lot more engaging to have a look at, you know, beautiful photo or an interesting...
And put the facial expressions, body language.
Puts a face to the name.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes us real.
Yes.
So we're on Facebook, we're engaging, we're putting video to get, you know, even more engagement. And then we need to think about Twitter. Okay. Hey. Who is active on Twitter? Wow, okay. Twitter is another platform which I really love. Okay, Twitter probably is my favorite of all the platforms. Shelley, I know that you're very active on Twitter as well, and she does a great thing. She's very helpful because she retweets what I put, and I retweet what she puts. So, explain the concept of making the tweet and then retweeting the tweet.
Yeah, so we are quite active on Twitter, and again, it's how we use it predominantly. It's looking at what's in the news, so not necessarily what's happening in our industry, but what's happening in the news that will essentially affect our industry. And again, you don't have to create this content yourself, because there's many businesses, including everybody in this room. You know, we all on a daily basis create content, so it's about sharing that. So Twitter's, you are limited to the amount of characters that you can use on Twitter.
It's 140.
140, yeah.
You have to be succinct.
Yeah, and I like to talk,
clear.
so you tend to type it out and then go, right, that's not going to work, and then you've got to get your hashtags in, and then you need to attach a photo to it. So yeah, there's a lot to kind of put on there.
Give me a concrete example. So let's say, for example, you want to promote yourself.
Yes.
Okay, give me an example of a tweet that you would put, the hashtags you would use, and the photo you would use.
So for us, I'm just trying to think now. If we were, so one of the services that we offer as a business is we let our clients choose our operating hours, which is a challenge, because we've got clients in Australia, so I'm tired a lot. But no,
that's an interesting concept.
It is. It works. So we will put something like I'm just trying to think now. Something like, you know, we let our clients choose our operating hours. You know, how does that affect you? Because again, you want some engagement back, and then it'll be hashtag HR, hashtag definitely not mobility, so hashtag relocation, hashtag UK potentially. And yeah, that's worked for us. But then the type of photo, again, people buy from people. So we would use a picture of a member of staff, or we would, you know, go into our library of images and just try and find something, you know, the most relevant.
Yeah, you can even have like the questions. If you could choose at what time you want to be assisted. Yes. Is it 24/7? And you can play with them.
Twitter also allows you to interact in real time. Yes. So what about the comments, Roberta? How does that work? I mean, that live interaction.
I think that's the greatest thing about the Twitter, because I was reading one of the researches, and surprisingly, only 21% of the companies that were researched on that, it was 1,200 marketers talking about the best practices, used to use social media in general for customer support. And I think that's the key thing here. We have to delight our customers with the customer support on social. And if you're doing this with the Twitter, you have real lifetime comments.
Which is really fantastic. Now, just as you can leave positive feedback and say, had a relocation with you, you were amazing, I love you, there can also be some negative comments, okay?
We all
Michelle,
like-
how do we deal with the negative comments?
We all love the positive comments because it reinforces we're doing a great job. When we get negative comments, especially, you just feel so, it gets into your bones. You really want to make a good job, do a good job, so you take it personally. We need to, with experience, you could see it from a business perspective, and it's a good, negative feedback is a good way to learn from and make improvements. The very number one thing you have to do with negative feedback is respond to it. Never delete it. Set it as a...
People will get super angry.
You want to show people, you want to answer it in a positive way, a courteous way. You care about what they think, and you want to help them. That's part of our industry, is just helping people. You want to get that fixed. You want to improve.
But let's say, let's give it concrete. I mean, someone leaves a comment, they said, you relocated me, your consultant didn't know what she was talking about, the service was basically garbage. Okay? How would we respond to that in a way that we can neutralize it and at the same time show to people that we own what we do?
Well, we have to provide a solution. First of all, make it positive. Leave out negative words like I cannot, substitute with I'm unable to. But you want to make it positive. You want to give them a solution. And you want to maybe talk to them in person. Often when things take a negative tone, it's much better to resolve things
Face to face.
face to face.
Yeah.
Face.
Great.
So you would make it positive, make it brief. It would depend on...
And probably try to take them in a positive way to go offline.
Offline.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Because you don't want it like going on and on and on.
Yeah,
and
they
on.
say never air your dirty laundry out in
Yeah.
public. And those comments are going to stay there forever. So
But even if they stay there forever, people will see
Will
that
see that
you
you
addressed it.
yeah, that's the
You were
important part.
proactive. The worst thing is there's a negative comment and it just hangs there like a cloud.
Forever.
And nobody gives any kind of feedback. So we've got Facebook working really well. One thing before I move on from Twitter, and there's a lot of debate on this. How many times do you think is reasonable to tweet per day? Shelley?
So we typically send out at least two.
Tweeting 10 times a day would be overkill?
Yeah. We use several different platforms to create our content and to kind of pull content in. And again, it's about the build, measure, learn. So make sure all of your campaigns are relevant. And it was just after the Brexit announcements. So we went onto the BBC News, and anytime something was mentioned about Brexit, it would automatically tweet everybody, and my phone did not stop going off. And I thought, God, if it's annoying me, it's going to be annoying everybody who's following us. So we, again, just took that out. So I think a couple of times a day. I think 10 times, unless it's exciting or funny, then.
And another thing which is very important is I'm a big fan of automation. Do not waste your time doing things for which there's a program to do it, okay? That's just insanity, okay? And you've got great programs like Hootsuite. And if you're concerned about cost, it allows you to have a free account for 3 social media profiles, and you can program everything. So if you're going on vacation, you can program everything to go out while you're on vacation. You can have your vacation in peace, and the social media just goes on automatically.
But then who answers if you get a negative response?
Well, at that
You
point,
need to
Do you have to
be,
keep watching it on your
no,
vacation?
I would say that then I would say you delegate that possibly to someone
and you
in the
I
office.
think it's also best practice here to set guidelines.
Yes, I was thinking
on-
about the negative responses and positive responses. It should be in your policy.
In your guidelines,
your
because
social
then
media
the
policy.
people that take over your office when you're on holiday, they will know how to proceed.
Yep.
So I think this is really important here.
Yeah, because I mean, I always encourage the team to give bad news on the telephone rather than by email. So you'd have, I think, a policy of how you address negativity in the office is a good thing to have.
Also a response time, maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it,
like we do
Because we
already.
do go
with
see
And,
emails.
and as I said, get them offline, because otherwise it just becomes, this regurgitation of the same stuff. Okay, so we've got Facebook engaging. We're on Twitter. Now we got to pass to, I guess we'd call it the most important platform for businesses, LinkedIn. Okay? Who has a professional profile on LinkedIn? Wow, almost everybody. Okay. Who has a company page on LinkedIn? Okay. LinkedIn is a phenomenal tool to network with people. Okay. I personally have got business out of LinkedIn. Okay. Let's look at the best practices for LinkedIn. Michelle, you and I were talking about that yesterday about some profiles that make you kind of a little.
The profiles, especially company profiles or personal profiles that have a caricature instead of the real photo, or the photo looks like suspect, like maybe it was a mug shot or
A vacation shot?
or a vacation
Yeah.
shot. The vacation shot should be, I guess, on Facebook. It discourages me, and I wonder who's really behind that.
Uh-huh. This is what it's about. I mean, I think I was telling Shelley yesterday, someone asked me to network on LinkedIn, and the photograph looked like she was from America's Most Wanted, okay? And I was like, so it's okay, because I believe in networking with everybody, okay?
Yes.
That led to a client.
exactly.
So, I mean, you never know. But a lot of people are concerned that if they connect with someone they don't know, that person could start contacting their contacts. But there's a way to avoid that,
Yes.
Roberta. Tell us.
You have some tools even on LinkedIn that you can see what is public and what is not. So you can filter who has viewed your profile, for instance, and you can always upgrade it to premium.
Exactly.
Have more filters on premium?
You have
Yes,
more.
and you have more options, search options. You can
Yeah.
send emails and contact people in a different way.
I'm curious how many people have a premium account?
Listen,
LinkedIn, Facebook, all of these platforms are for-profit platforms. They're not charities, okay? So they are in the business to make money. So a premium account on LinkedIn also gives you a certain prestige in a certain sense because you get a little symbol
Premium.
next to your name, and it allows you to do more things. I think one of the things they're going to take away from the free account is you won't be able to see who has viewed your profile. And that's an interesting tool to have. Now, just like Facebook and Twitter, there has to be some engagement on LinkedIn. I mean, people have to see some activity. It's like if you search your name in Google and you don't turn up, you could be dead. I mean, there has to be, something going on.
Going
So,
on.
what kind of interaction can we do on
I think
LinkedIn,
we
Roberta?
should even because I think the LinkedIn is to set yourself as an expert. I think this is the main goal of this platform. So you upload your PDFs, slideshow presentations, or videos, or audio files, or articles. You do that a lot, and it's great. And this is a show and tell. So you show people how you do, and this will make them understand that you are the expert without sounding too self-promotional. So I think this is a great
Yeah,
opportunity.
you see, you don't, we're all tired of being sold to, okay? Everybody's selling, okay? You want to sell through information, okay? You got to put yourself as an expert, not, I see a lot of things on LinkedIn. It's like, well, we've launched a new service. It's a one-day home search. It costs $1,000. I'm like, it's like,
Breathe.
I get the famous chest pains, okay?
Should you be also using photos and videos?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
we can do
absolutely.
that.
Even for just something simple as a news flash?
And what you can do is, if you
Yeah.
publish an article on LinkedIn, it's a good idea just to give the teaser, and then to read the full article, take them to the website. Okay, this is the goal. You want to get people to your website so they see what you do and who you are. Okay.
Definitely. I mean, how we use LinkedIn as a platform to not only get our messages across and to grow our brand, but if you join certain groups on LinkedIn, so HR groups, people do post questions in there, and it will be, I'm struggling, and it can be individuals or HR. I'm looking for. My company is facing this challenge. Has anybody
What
got a
would you do?
solution? So it's a great way if you join these groups. Again, it's all free to go in there and again potentially grow your brand, get some business.
On LinkedIn, the EuRa has an official group. I assume everybody is a member of that group.
Yes.
Okay.
We will be.
If not,
Very quickly.
Okay, and that's your opportunity. Someone will post a question, you post a possible solution, and it gets your brand and your name out there. What about the company page on LinkedIn? What do you think we should be putting into that?
I would follow the same structure. Post useful information and make sure that they are all relevant to the industry or whatever, not only related to the industry, but that there are interesting facts that will show that you are an expert on that. Or even if it's we handle Brazil, so we like to add extra information about our locations in Brazil and the destination services, but not the service itself. The location, what you can do, the best things to do while you're on holiday in Brazil, or places for the expatriates to be. It's nice. I think that's how you can interact and engage the audience to go there and have more followers and look for that.
Another thing that's really important, I mean, it's very important to me personally, but if you write an article, make sure that you have somebody proofread it, okay? That it's not full of grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, because that's not going to make you look like an expert.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean, you could have all the knowledge in the world, but that just looks like you couldn't be bothered.
Sloppy. Yeah, I agree.
So we're building the platform. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. LinkedIn is now booming. Oh, by the way, nice photograph on LinkedIn. Okay, get a photographer. Give them €30 and get a nice photograph. Okay?
A picture at the beach is not good.
95% of people respond to what they see visually.
Visually.
Okay, so if they see a nice picture, subconsciously they're.
And you have even photo filler. It's a funny tool. You can put it like you put your photo, and they will evaluate if you're an influencer, if you look like an expert.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can do that. Like if you evaluate others based on the photo, and you get a perspective and a feedback. So you think, oh, it's time to change my photo, or no.
Okay,
But it's good. That's a good tool.
that's good. I like this.
Photo,
I like that
photo
too.
filler.
That.
Photo filler.
Photo
Yes.
filler.
So check that out.
Okay. The last platform we're going to talk about, because it's becoming much more used by businesses and it's getting a lot more options, and that's Instagram. Okay, for photographs. Okay. Let me know. Okay.
Yeah, 15
Good.
15. Okay. Because we're all talkers, so we could talk until 6 o'clock. Okay. Instagram. Okay. Using Instagram to grow your business. Okay. Because people are visual, Instagram gives them immediate access to some aspect of you.
Yes.
Roberta, you're the Instagram queen, okay?
I like the Instagram.
I know you do, okay? Tell us about
But
it.
I think at the Instagram, you have to focus on the solution that you're providing, not the products you sell in general. And I think the most important aspect is looking beautiful while you're doing that. Because this can be, no, that's true, because people want to see
Beautiful people.
beautiful.
What are your beauty secrets?
Check on Instagram. I do. You can add even like some people.
Hashtag be beautiful like me. Okay.
Or you can even see the influencers and the followers. I think the nice thing is to build anticipation. So you show the people lifestyle, the products that you wear without advertising them. And then the people will say, oh, and if the brands, depending, you can do the shout out that it's like partnering and collaborating with other people on Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is really interesting because you can do the non-paid. So it's someone like I have my own followers. I have someone with roughly the same number of followers, and we both benefit from the exposure. Or you can have like a paid, if you have more budget, a paid shout out. You can have a brand, Microsoft or whatever brand, using your name to increase. But then you have to be prepared for to call.
Michelle, you've been a long-time resident of Copenhagen. So let's say, someone is moving to Copenhagen now, okay? What would be a nice picture, for example, to put on Instagram to show them about Denmark and life in Copenhagen?
I think possibly the traditions that we have, pointing out the hygge. This is becoming a very popular word. I've been reading it all over in different places. It means it's hard to really describe it, but imagine candlelight. Hygge can be an adjective to describe how nice things are, and we also say it's very nice to meet you, it's hyggelig to meet you, but something has to do with, it could be just sitting here on this panel. We're having a very hyggelig time. So hyggelig.
And it's also like Michelle taking a photograph in her office of the people working, okay?
Yeah.
Because
So
you
our
see,
candles on the table.
oh yeah, I love those in Denmark, but it shows who you are. People then say, oh, well, there's an office, there are people, I mean, it brings people into that part of your life.
And you share your mission, you can share your values, you can do tips, and if you're like lack of ideas, everybody has like the brainstorm rooms with sketches and things. You just make the pretty photo and upload that online, and you're gonna see people responding to it.
Now, recently, Instagram has kind of gone through a change because I think they were bought by Facebook.
Yes.
And I've noticed that lately a lot of people are using Instagram also for video. So
I think-
as a DSP, what can you put as a video on Instagram?
The video on Instagram stay live for 24 hours. After that, you are able to repost it. But when it's live, you reach bigger audience. So it's nice to be live. You can tell your story. For instance,
Which is, how do I tell my story?
you don't need to put like the about us boring text. You go and you show yourself with a video, and you film and you say, this is what we do, this is how we started, and the people will see your facial expressions, they will see your body language, they will see your passion, and this will draw them in. And then you're gonna make sure that your followers will keep themselves interested in what you're doing, and they keep coming back for more insider information. I think this is the cool thing about Instagram.
Excellent.
You can use it to engage
Now,
also.
in a short period of time, we've talked about a lot of things. Some of it might be new for you, some of it may not be new for you. The goal of this session, at least for me, is that even if you get one thing today that you can implement into your business, then the session for me has been a success.
Yes.
Okay? You don't have to do everything all at once. And I think now we can open it up to any questions
Yeah.
that anybody has. We even have a microphone.
You go there. I think just one thing before like going to the questions. Again, just take a step back and check what you've worked, check the metrics, because I think this is very important to see what worked and what has not worked, so you can improve. Otherwise, marketing is just a guessing game. So it's really important that you go through this to see what are the opportunities and how you can, at the end of the day, leverage your business and grow your business opportunities with the social media.
Excellent. Shelley, closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts for me really are obviously anything that's been put out on social media is a representation of you and your business. So always keep that in mind. But you know, everything that you're putting on social media, it should be a part of your strategy. So again, plan, measure, build, and always review everything. And again, any paid campaigns, you've got to have a look at the analytics. 100%. So you need to know, who you're targeting, why you're targeting them. The analytics you can get from your website, you can get from Google Analytics. So any paid campaigns, research that. If you don't research it, again, you may as well just throw your money away. There's no point doing a paid campaign.
Michelle, some closing thoughts?
I'm just looking at the juxtaposition of how it's supposed, social media is supposed to be less time consuming, but we spend a lot of time preparing, doing research. There's still a lot to go into it. So it's just a little intimidating to say, okay, I'm going to make a video of myself. I find that challenging, and I would like to be able to get past that, because I'm wondering, is it professional enough? Is it how am I
think you
appearing
have
out
to
there?
approach that like you would anything that maybe you haven't done for a long time. It's like if you haven't exercised for 20 years, obviously you can't start with a marathon,
Right.
You start
Small
with, you start with a few, baby steps, for the want of a better expression.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying earlier, is that start with one thing. I mean, someone who isn't doing any social media, I think it's unrealistic to think that they're going to start with 5 different platforms. You start with Facebook, if that's what you're drawn to. And then I think you have to do things that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, yes, video obviously gets a lot of engagement, but if you don't feel that that's your personality, then don't give up on social media. Maybe you can write.
Right.
Or get somebody else to be in the video.
That's right.
There's
Someone from
always an
your team.
extrovert in everybody's office, okay? So, who's just dying to be in front of the video, okay?
Everybody wants their
So-
15 minutes of fame.
Exactly, like the Kardashians, okay? So you can find someone in your office to be the face of, social media, Because sometimes, you take the video of, and you say, oh my God, I don't want to put this out in the world, okay? So, I think that if we work with what we've got, I think, you can come up with
to
an
build-
interesting
building on what we have.
strategy. Questions? Does anybody have any questions? Okay, let me turn on my...
Yay.
Does this work? It does.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Hi. First, thank you. It was very interesting. I was looking forward to this presentation for a long time. I have a question. Like most people here, I would imagine, social media has been filled up by us, the managers, the people that work there. My question is, do you guys have any strategy for the different types of public? For example, I see that on our Facebook page, we have over 3,000 followers. No one of them is a relocation company or a human resources. They're all BTC. Most of them are Portuguese, which doesn't make any sense. So what do I post to these people? How do I get to them? When it comes to LinkedIn, yes, mostly, we have partners, the agencies, some of the human resources, so we want to put there like more personal, professionalized content that has to do with the area, but you have to put in the time to actually think about what kind of content to share in which platform, what is your actual type of public, where did you going to get the business from? So I want to hear a little bit about your guys' strategies, because I'm having a hard time with it.
Okay. Shelley, Roberta, Michelle?
Yeah, so For us, I think, yeah, Facebook is always a tricky one. My mum likes a lot of my posts.
But she's not giving you any business.
No, she's not. No. Again, it's using the platform to its benefit. So if you've got a lot of followers or likes on Facebook, look at the demographics and look at analyze who is liking your page, why they're liking them, and then again research that as well. So particular genders,
And places.
places, and then I would use that data. 3,000 like that's fantastic.
Yes.
That is
Amazing.
really good.
It's huge. I mean, I wasn't the one who started out the page. So I think they paid for visibility. So we have a lot of people there who doesn't even know probably who is in the industry. So I'm always wondering, should I spend my time here? Obviously, I have 3,000 people that I have to care for and have to deliver, meaningful content to them. But will I get business from that? I'm not too sure. I haven't get any business.
Well, you have to, you have to really be consistent for about
Yes.
6 months, okay, on different platforms. And then, as Roberta said, you have to go and analyze it, okay? As I said, Facebook is a for-profit platform, okay? So with Facebook, you can sponsor content, which you can make really laser-like. Don't think only of your followers, but if you sponsor content on Facebook, it will show up in other people's feeds who are not your contacts, okay? Because you can say, I want to reach people between the ages of X and X who live here, who have these interests. You can make it very specific. And it's not, and the thing about it is, it's very cheap in comparison to traditional methods, because you can say, I'm going to spend 15 euros a day and for a week. So you set a budget.
budget.
And you monitor it. I mean, it's like what I'm a big fan of, staff on demand, okay? You don't hit the target immediately, okay? It's a little hit and miss at the beginning. But what's important is that you're consistent and you learn the tool and you get very focused on who you want to reach. But it's like everything, it takes time. People are not patient. We live in an instant gratification, world. And so it's the same with social media. I mean, someone I know in Rome, they sent out 400 invitations and the 3 people turned up and they said, oh, it was a disaster. I said, actually, no, that was actually good. I said, 3? You're telling me 3 was good? Are you crazy? I'm like, no, considering you only mailed 400 invitations, 3 people actually taking the time to turn up was not so bad. So it's about, I think Roberta said it, you have to have a strategy.
Yeah.
It's like, what do we
What do
want
you want?
to do? It's like when you start a business, where do you want to be in a year's time? Where would you like to be in 5 years' time? Social media is exactly the same. What is it you want to achieve with it? Obviously, it's to get business.
Yeah.
But then how do you do that? Which platform?
Then I think then you see once you set the goals, then you are more able to analyze what can you take from the best out of the different platforms that are available.
And really open up to the possibility of sponsoring content.
Yes.
Okay? And it's got to be engaging content. I mean, sometimes people like what I call fluffy content, how to cook pasta very well, okay? Okay? And I go, wow, this post really had a lot of engagement. Okay? And then I'll write an article which I think, oh wow, this is really
Wow, this is
fantastic.
great.
I'm like, and it went nowhere, okay? But you can recycle it, you can reword it, you can put it on another platform. Any other questions?
Over there.
Ah,
How are we on time?
Thank you. Besides the filters you're mentioning, like putting I would like to attract this audience between this age to age, do you have other tips to attract the attention of the relevant stakeholders?
even when you use, for instance, for Facebook or the different platforms, you can have access to their Facebook insights and analytics, and then they will show overview, for instance, how your page is doing, pages to watch, that you can see similar page, so you can see what your competitors are doing. Not that anyone does that here, but so you can compare, reach where, what's your reach and what the factors who are checking that. So every different platform will give you like a way to streamline what should be those tasks. But at the bottom line is that you have to know who do you want to target. And from there, you're going to see the different options.
It's very. Oh, you did. I thought you had disappeared. It's very much a formula in the sense that, you know, if you want to save money, you have to spend less than you earn. Yeah. So it's very formulistic in the sense that you have to monitor it closely. Okay, who's it reaching? Similar pages.
However you're performing, how successful your event was. You create all that, and you're going to measure. You have to measure the results.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people have to expect to see something from you on a regular basis. You know, while preparing this session, I kind of researched a lot of people, and I saw, you know, Twitter accounts where the last tweet was in 2014. I don't know what happened to them since 2014. The Facebook page had 2 posts, and that's just not going to work. It's going to take commitment.
Yeah, I think the whole point of this is that we need to keep fresh in everybody's mind. So regular posting. You know, if I you know, I follow you guys. You know, naturally, if I had any work coming into Italy, you know, not knowing you, but only knowing you via social media, you would be the person.
And you're going to remember
that's
people.
what I need.
And it does work, because I did meet 2 people here that don't know me, and they said, you're the guy on LinkedIn, okay? So I was like, okay, something's working here, okay? And, you know, if you don't have, I think everybody has talent, okay? I mean, I could take singing lessons for the next 50 years, and I will never be Michael Bublé, okay? But if you haven't got the talent to write, let's say, articles, find someone to do it for you. Yeah. You can find people online. You've got www.fiverr.com, you've got upwork.com, and they're full of freelancers that can do basically anything that you need. Outsource it.
Yeah, outsource it, and also
We have another,
they have
another question, or 2 questions.
No, sorry. I just have a question about the Instagram. You said you have a lot of followers and you like to post pictures, nice pictures. Yes. But is that your own account? Is it your personal account, or is it the company's?
You can link.
Okay.
The Instagram now, they upgraded. Last year it was only for certain countries, but from this year, you can mix your personal account with your business account.
Okay.
And again, what do you want to show? You want to show a bit of your personality, and you're going to use the bio. You have a part that you can add your information, and you can put a link, and you have to keep it updated. I think it's a shame when people just put their website and forget that forever. And because although you want people to check your website, you need to, this is a platform that you need to keep people interested. So you need to put the events that you're doing. You have to build the anticipation. If you're going to change office, you're going to open a new office, you take the pictures and you post. So they will keep coming back for more information. And you can mix, and you can change from your business to your personal profile.
Okay.
And you can also limit what one can see in each other.
Oh,
We have one more question.
you have 2 questions? Hootsuite.
You can also use Buffer.
Buffer is really
And
good.
you use Buffer?
Buffer.
Use Buffer.
Hi, very quick question. I think we're all convinced completely that social media is something that we need. But as you rightly said, as small companies, where we struggle is in terms of consistency, how often we do. So from your experience, like we're an entrepreneur company out of India, 22 years we've been in this business. Does it really work to just hire someone to do social media for you as a full-time thing? Because I know we all want to do it, you know, and I know my CEO is very passionate, and she says, might not speak the same language as I do, but then it's just not working. As you said, we do posts once a week. You're talking about 2 tweets a day. So does it really help? Because
It does it. I mean, I've been in the industry for many years, but only set my company up 2 years ago, and we have gone from, you know, nobody knowing us, nobody at all, to, you know, a successful business now, and most of that was done through social media. So it is important, but again, don't get me wrong, when we're incredibly busy, well, when we first started, we were probably spending around about 18 hours a week creating content on social media and making sure that we were up to date on everything. But what I would say is if you're only creating content once a week, that's absolutely fine. But in the meantime, we're a big industry with a lot of content, a lot of really good information. Share it. So, you know, Fragment as an example, you know, they produce really good information on a daily basis. So get in contact with them and say, you know, can I retweet some information? Can I share?
Sorry, the problem's not about content. I think as you said, we have a lot. The question is whether we should own it individually or have a dedicated person.
I think
Depends on your budget.
I think it depends on your
budget.
I think it depends on, again, you got to take it back one step. What do you want to achieve with it? Okay? If it's just to give you visibility, that's one thing. If it's to increase your turnover, that's another. So you have to identify what is the goal, and then based on that, you put the strategy together. I personally think that you don't need someone in-house. No. You can outsource it, okay? Because someone outsourced working 3 to 5 hours a week, that's a lot. They can do a lot in that time. And a lot of these people are in lower cost labor markets, so it's very reasonable, okay? And I think that's a good solution. But as I said, start it in a way that you're comfortable to do it with. But first, as Roberta said, identify the goal. I know you're all getting hungry, and we could talk until the cows come home, but we're getting hungry too. And I thank you all so much for coming to today's session. As I said, if you got one thing that you can use, then we've achieved our goal. Yes. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference. And if you have any questions, we'll all be around. Yes. Okay?